Hello guys, welcome to my tutorials corner. My name is Abhi and this is part 24 of WPF tutorial for beginners. This is continuation to part 23. I would suggest you to watch part 23 before proceeding with this video. In this video, we will learn about the selection mode and selection unit properties of DataGrid Control. And then we will understand that what is RowDetailsTemplate and why do we use that in DataGrid. So first of all, let's go to the Visual Studio and look at the previous example that we have created. We have created a DataGrid control and we are supplying the employee list here. We have created a complex type, that is the employee class, and inside that we have different properties that are employee ID, name, email, phone, and age. This is the website of the employee, and this is to determine that either the employee is permanent or not. If you will notice here, I have the website property is of type URI and is permanent employee property is of type boolean. I have taken these types because I just wanted to show you that when the DataGrid control is generated, then how it displays these types in the DataGrid. Basically, it displays a hyperlink for the URI type and it displays a checkbox for those properties which are of type boolean. And we have a function which is basically supplying the item source for the DataGrid control. Inside that I have created a list of employees, and while creating the list I have added 3 different employees that are Todd, Rob, and Jack. So let's run this code and let's look at the output. You can see this is displaying all the columns at the moment because the AutoGenerateColumns property is set to true. Now in this video we will understand about these two different properties that are selection mode and selection unit. The selection mode can have two different type of values, that is extended or single. If we will set this to extended, then we can select more than one row at a time, and if we will set this to single, then we can select only one row at a time. Let's actually go to the example and set these properties. Let's stop that. Selection mode is equals to extended, and if I will run this, I'm going to click on a row and I'm pressing Control and I'm able to select more than one row. So that's basically the extended property. I'm going to set this single, and if I will run this and try to select more than one row, I'm still pressing the Control, and if I will try to select another row, this is not allowing me to select more than one row. So that's basically the single value for the selection mode property. Now the next property is selection unit. It can have 3 types of values, that is cell, full row, or cell or row header. If we will set the selection unit property to cell, then this is going to allow us to only select a cell at a time. And if we will set this to full row, then we can select a row at a time. And if we will set this to cell or row header, then either we can select a cell, or when we will click on the row header, then we can select the row. So let's go to the example and set this property, selection unit, and if I will set this to cell, And if I will run this and try to select something here, you can see this is allowing me to only select the cell at a time. Okay, if I will set this to cell or row header, then either we can select the cell, or if we will click on the cell header, look at here, there is a tiny part here. Basically this is the row header, and if I will click on this row header, this is going to select the whole row. And the last one is full row. So either we click any of the cell, this is not going to matter, this is going to select the whole row at a time. So these are the three types which we have used for the selection unit property. Now the next thing which we are going to do, that is RowDetailsTemplate of the DataGrid Control. First of all, let's understand that what is RowDetailsTemplate. RowDetailsTemplate is used to display the details of a row. When we click on a row in DataGrid, the RowDetailsTemplate becomes visible just below the row that we have clicked actually, and we can put any control or container inside it, like grid or stack panel or dock panel, etc. And then we can put the details of a row according to our requirement. So what I am going to do, I will create the RowDetailsTemplate inside the grid. First of all, I am going to get rid of these properties, and this time I am going to set the AutoGenerateColumns to false. I don't want to generate the columns automatically, and I am going to create the columns manually. Let's do that. DataGrid.columns, and inside that let's create that columns. Look at here, this is coming with different options. We can create the checkbox column for the boolean type, we can create the combo box column for the enumerable types, we can create the hyperlink column for the URI types, and here is the template column. We can create the text column for the numeric or string types. So currently we are interested only in this, that is the text column. I'm going to create that. Let's bind it with the property. I'm going to bind this with name property. Let's close that. Now here we need to provide the header also. I'm going to set the name here, and let's copy this and actually paste another column before the name, and let's paste that. Here I want to display the employee ID, and let's do that. And the next column which I want to display, that is email and phone. Let's do that. Email, and let's set the header to email as well, and let's set the phone. So these are the 4 columns which are going to display on the DataGrid Control. Now I'm going to create the RowDetailsTemplate. So how do we create that? We can create just by typing DataGrid.RowDetailsTemplate, and inside that we need to take the data template. And I have already written some script. I'm going to copy this from here and I will paste it inside the data template. Now let's talk about the code that we have just pasted here. I have taken a dock panel. If you don't know about the dock panel, please watch part 4 of this video series. After the dock panel, I have taken a grid control which has basically 2 columns and 3 rows. And look at here, we are displaying the different values, that is employee ID, employee name and email on these rows and columns. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this example. Now if I will click on the row, this is going to display the details of the employee. If I will click on the second row, this is going to display the details of the next employee, and it will hide the previous RowDetails template automatically. Actually, I'm going to make this little bit interesting. I'm going to create another property, that is the employee photo, maybe photo, and I'm going to provide the value of this property here while creating the employee. So let's do that, photo, and I already have 2 images, that is avatar 1 and avatar 2. So I'm going to provide the source of these images. So let's do that. Let's set the path, that is inside icons and avatar 1.png. Let's copy this from here and let's set the photo for the second employee. This time I'm going to use the avatar 2 and the last one is avatar 1. Okay, that's fine. Now the next thing that we have to do here, we need to create the image control which will display the employee image, and let's set the source of it. Bind this with the new property we have created, that is photo, and I'm going to set the width of it, that is maybe 90, and height maybe 120. Let's close that. And now if I will run this, this is going to display the photo of the employee as well. You can see here, this is the image of employee. This is displaying the image of the second employee. Actually, I'm going to set some margin of the grid control. Let's set this 0 and 20. And if I will run this, this is going to look bit better now, you can see. So in this way we can create the RowDetails template in DataGrid Control. It basically opens when we click on the row of the data grid. Let's go to the slide. Now we can control the visibility of RowDetails template by using the RowDetails Visibility mode property of DataGrid Control. We can supply 3 different type of values for the visibility mode, that can be either collapsed or visible, or it can be visible when selected. When we will supply the collapsed value for the RowDetails Visibility mode, this is going to hide all the RowDetails template, and if we will set this to visible, this is going to display all the RowDetails template when the data grid will be populated. And when we will set this to visible when selected, then this is going to display only when the row is selected. Okay, so let's go to the example. I'm going to set this to RowDetails Visibility mode to collapsed, and if I will run this, and if I will try to click on the row, look at here, this is not displaying the RowDetails template. If I will set this to visible, this is going to display all the row details when the data grid will be populated. You can see here all the row details templates are visible, and if we will set this to visible when selected, let's click on this, and this is only visible when we will select the row of the data grid. So that's the row details and row details visibility mode. This is my blog where you can find the source code. That's it from this video tutorial. Please like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.